In a move that few could have predicted, former President Donald Trump confirmed a direct phone call with Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro, sending shockwaves through both Washington and Caracas. The announcement reverberated instantly, catching even seasoned political observers off guard. The news didn't come from a carefully worded official press release or a scheduled briefing. Instead, it broke in real time from Trump's own social media account, igniting a political firestorm that spread rapidly across the globe. Within minutes, the post was trending, and speculation ran rampant. The confirmation of a direct phone call with Maduro was nothing short of a political earthquake, especially given the recent military standoff between the two nations. Tensions had been running high, with both sides posturing and the world watching nervously. Yet the White House remained conspicuously silent, refusing to offer any immediate clarification. This silence only fueled further speculation and anxiety among officials, journalists, and the public alike. Newsrooms and congressional offices buzzed with disbelief and urgency. Aides scrambled for details, phones rang off the hook, and journalists rushed to verify the story, all while trying to make sense of what this could mean for U.S. foreign policy. Trump's cryptic message offered little insight, stating only that a long and productive conversation had taken place. The lack of specifics left everyone guessing about the true nature and outcome of the call. All of this unfolded as U.S. naval destroyers continued to patrol the Caribbean and Venezuelan troops mobilized along their borders, underscoring the high-stakes environment in which this conversation occurred. The juxtaposition of high-level diplomacy and military brinkmanship has left both allies and adversaries alike wondering what this unprecedented outreach could mean for the future. Analysts debated whether this was a step toward de-escalation or a risky gamble. Lawmakers from both parties, many of whom have long advocated isolating Maduro, were blindsided by the news. Some expressed outrage, while others called for urgent briefings to understand the administration's intentions. The lack of any official comment from the White House only deepened the confusion and left the media and public searching for answers. Around the world, people tuned in to breaking news coverage, waiting anxiously for the next move in this high-stakes geopolitical chess match. The uncertainty was palpable, and the stakes could not be higher. This single event has overshadowed every other political story of the day, dominating headlines and conversations from Washington to Caracas and beyond. By engaging directly with Maduro, Trump has upended years of U.S. policy focused on sanctions and diplomatic isolation. The move signals a possible shift in strategy, one that could have far-reaching consequences for both nations. The silence from official channels cannot last forever. Sooner or later, the administration will have to address the world's questions and clarify its intentions. When the truth finally emerges, the political landscape may be irrevocably altered, setting the stage for a new chapter in U.S.-Venezuela relations, and perhaps a new era in international diplomacy. Amid the speculation, a few facts stand out. Trump publicly stated he spoke with Nicolás Maduro over the phone, via a post on his Truth Social platform. The post was brief, describing the conversation as very good and long. The current administration has not commented or confirmed the call. Venezuela's Minister of Communication, Jorge Rodriguez, confirmed the call in a press conference, calling it a step toward dialogue. No details about the topics, duration, or initiator have been released. Both sides acknowledged the call, but neither has provided a transcript or summary. The lack of information allows both governments to control the narrative for now. The verified facts: a direct conversation occurred. Both sides confirm it, and the content remains secret. Everything else is speculation. The Trump-Maduro call happened amid escalating military tensions in the Caribbean. The U.S. has increased its naval presence near Venezuela, with destroyers and a combat ship deployed. The Pentagon calls these freedom of navigation operations, but Caracas sees them as a show of force. In response, Maduro ordered a full-scale mobilization of Venezuelan forces, moving troops and armored vehicles to key regions. State TV in Venezuela has broadcast live-fire exercises and patriotic displays. The standoff has alarmed regional allies and drawn condemnation from Russia and China, who back Caracas. The risk of a small incident spiraling into conflict is real. This tense military context makes the Trump-Maduro call even more startling. Was it an attempt to defuse the standoff, or something else? Until there's an official announcement of de-escalation, the powder keg remains. Direct talks between US and Venezuelan leaders are almost unheard of. For decades, official communication has been filtered through layers of diplomats, intermediaries, and public statements, rarely, if ever, resulting in face-to-face or even direct phone conversations between the heads of state. Since Hugo Chávez's rise in 1999, relations have been marked by hostility and near-total diplomatic breakdown. The two countries have often found themselves on opposite sides of regional and global issues, with mutual distrust growing year after year. The US has refused to recognize Maduro, instead backing the opposition as Venezuela's legitimate government. This stance has led to the closure of embassies, the imposition of sanctions, and a diplomatic freeze that seemed impossible to thaw. Any direct conversation with Maduro was considered impossible for a sitting US president. The risk of legitimizing his government, even by a simple phone call, was seen as too great a political cost. Trump, as a former president, isn't bound by current policy and can engage as a private citizen. He operates outside the constraints of official US foreign policy, giving him a unique freedom to act where others cannot. His call with Maduro bypasses years of protocol and creates a parallel diplomatic channel. This move is not just unusual, it's a dramatic departure from the established playbook of international relations. Such freelance diplomacy by a former president is virtually unprecedented. Rarely do ex-leaders step so directly into the arena of high-stakes negotiation, especially with adversaries. Direct leader-to-leader contact can break diplomatic logjams, allow frank discussion, and potentially lead to rapid breakthroughs. When leaders speak candidly, without layers of bureaucracy, new possibilities can emerge. It can de-escalate crises, or build personal rapport for future agreements. Sometimes, a single conversation can shift the tone of an entire relationship, opening doors that seemed permanently closed. By opening this line, Trump and Maduro have created a new, unpredictable channel outside formal US-Venezuela relations. This back channel could either complement or complicate official efforts, introducing a new variable into an already volatile equation. Whether it leads to progress or chaos is now the central question. The world is watching to see if this bold move will spark dialogue or deepen divisions. The stakes are high, and the outcome is uncertain. Every word exchanged could have far-reaching consequences for both nations and the region as a whole. This is a diplomatic wildcard. In the unpredictable world of international politics, such moves can change the game in ways no one can fully anticipate. To truly grasp the significance of the recent diplomatic call, it's important to look closely at the United States' stated goals regarding Venezuela, which have evolved over the past few years in response to ongoing crises. US policy has primarily relied on a combination of economic sanctions and diplomatic isolation, specifically targeting Venezuela's vital oil industry and high-ranking government officials seen as responsible for the country's turmoil. The overarching aim is to pressure the Venezuelan government to allow genuinely free and fair elections, release political prisoners, and ultimately restore democratic institutions and civil liberties for the Venezuelan people. Washington has made it clear that sanctions relief is possible, but only if there is verifiable and meaningful progress toward democracy, with concrete steps taken by Venezuelan authorities. Another major US objective is to promote regional stability, as Venezuela's ongoing crisis has triggered a massive refugee flow, putting immense pressure on neighboring countries and creating humanitarian challenges across Latin America. In response, the US has provided humanitarian aid to Venezuelans and justified limited military deployments along the border as a deterrent against further instability or cross-border threats. The fate of American citizens detained in Venezuela remains a particularly sensitive issue, with ongoing calls from families and officials for their safe and immediate release. Any high-level talks between the two countries would almost certainly address the status of these detainees as a top priority. Energy security is another critical factor. Venezuela possesses the world's largest proven oil reserves, making its resources strategically important for global markets. While sanctions have largely cut off Venezuelan oil from the US market, some experts and policymakers now question whether this approach is sustainable or effective in the long run. As a result, any future negotiations or talks between the US and Venezuela will inevitably involve discussions about oil exports, contracts, and the broader energy relationship. Altogether, these interconnected priorities, democracy, stability, humanitarian concerns, detainees, and energy, are shaping Washington's evolving approach to Venezuela today. For Caracas, the top priority is lifting U.S. economic sanctions, which Maduro blames for Venezuela's crisis. Sanctions relief is the cornerstone of Maduro's foreign policy. Maduro also seeks international legitimacy, as the U.S. and others have refused to recognize him since 2019. A call with Trump is a symbolic victory, suggesting the U.S. may be open to dialogue. Caracas wants frozen state assets returned, including billions in gold and Citgo. Regaining these assets is crucial for economic recovery. Maduro also demands a U.S. commitment to non-interference and an end to regime change efforts. For him, these are matters of both principle and survival. In the wake of the Trump-Maduro call, rumors have exploded. Some claim the call was about an oil deal, Venezuela boosting production in exchange for sanctions relief. Others speculate it involved negotiations for the release of American prisoners. There's talk of Russian or Cuban intermediaries, or that Trump wanted to show he still influences foreign policy. None of these theories are confirmed. The only facts: the call happened, both sides acknowledge it, and the context is tense. Everything else is speculation. In a fast-moving story, it's vital to separate fact from rumor. The truth will emerge in time. For now, caution is the best guide. The future of U.S.-Venezuela relations is now uncertain. The current U.S. administration must decide, condemn the call as rogue diplomacy, or cautiously explore it as an opening. Their response will set the tone for what comes next. Allies and adversaries are watching closely, recalibrating their positions. A perceived shift in U.S. policy could prompt changes across Latin America. For Maduro, the call is a propaganda victory and potential lifeline. For Trump, motivations are less clear. Perhaps political ambition or a bid to shape foreign policy. The key question: will this lead to further dialogue, or is it a one-off event? Any negotiation would be complex, likely involving sanctions relief and democratic concessions. The path from a single call to a comprehensive agreement is long and uncertain. The only certainty: the status quo has been shattered. The world waits for the next move. The Trump-Maduro call could mark a turning point in U.S.-Venezuela relations. Years of hostility and sanctions have failed to bring change, instead fueling crisis and instability. This call breaks the stalemate, introducing a new dynamic. It challenges the established framework of U.S. foreign policy and the role of former presidents in diplomacy. Isolating regimes is one approach, direct dialogue is another. This could be the start of a messy but productive process, de-escalating tensions, freeing detainees, and negotiating reforms. Or it could embolden Maduro without real concessions, undermining U.S. credibility. The direction is unclear. The old strategy is disrupted, but a new one hasn't emerged. The Trump-Maduro call is a turning point. Where it leads remains unknown.